Well, good morning, Geoff. Thank you for joining this discussion about the role of the Institute of Procurement and Supply, of which I know you are the head of our Centre of Excellence.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm deeply involved in CIPS and all things related. So obviously you're the ideal person to talk us through uh, our relationship with them and how it helps to develop capability and routes to professional recognition.
yeah.
So over to you.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Ray, for the invitation here this morning to talk about the Chartered Institute for Procurement and Supply. Yes, as an organisation, DPSS, been involved with the Chartered Institute for way over 25 years now, and in that time, the number of students that we have enabled to progress has been quite substantial. We are, as mentioned in the introduction, a centre of excellence for the Chartered Institute, which basically recognises the methods that we use in terms of our training, our support, our mentoring, and our ability to consistently get high levels of results and satisfactions for our student base. So in a way, the Centre of Excellence status is a very deep recognition of the time and the effort that we put into supporting our student base.
And I guess
The
there must be other grades of centre ratings. So they're not all centre of excellence, are they? There are other lesser ratings, I guess.
Yeah, there are, and quite often, when a business is beginning to sort of form a relationship with the Chartered Institute, they'll start off as an approved centre, and then we'll seek to move to a merit level, and then up to the Centre of Excellence level. Just for the out of interest, it's very likely that during 2025 that we'll end up with just two bands, the approved and the Centre of Excellence, that there is a focus towards trying to raise standards to a much, much higher level across the broad spectrum of the study centres that CIPS have across the United Kingdom and across the world, indeed, as also.
And also, I guess it's a fairly arduous audit process that we have to go through.
Yes, it is. It is. It's as an audit process, there is a high degree of focus around methodologies that are being used. For example, assessments of teaching standards, assessments of results, and also just making sure that as a group of trainers and teachers for DPSS, everybody is sort of up to date with their continual professional development. As a business and as a team, we are fairly well blessed by people who have all become authors in various different subjects and keep up to date with the particular aspects of topics. So yeah, it all helps in the long run. And of course, audits go deeper than that. They obviously, CIPS as a business wants to make sure that everything we do is in alignment with policies and procedures and ambitions. So yeah, that's pretty much what we do through the audit process.
And I guess that means that organisations and students can be assured then that if they sign up on your program, they're going to get a very good experience, a very
Yes,
successful experience. I would say.
very much so. And indeed, we are quite fortunate that the student base actually, on a personal basis, quite often recognise our efforts by their own individual posts that they may well put onto LinkedIn, sort of recognising the support and efforts that we have provided them. But we also, obtain feedback from students as well, listen to what they're saying. If there's any improvements that they think that we could take on board or consider, then of course we'll review those and if it's appropriate and suitable, we'll put it into operation. But yeah, students can be well assured, and the good thing is that one of the things from an audit is the role of progression. So we, as a business, have found it very helpful to see many of our students progressing from level 3 to 4 to 5 and upwards there to level 6. So it's that ongoing ambition and support that keeps students with that focus and attention to believing that DPSS is doing the right thing for them.
Okay, good stuff. Now, like, I mean, not to be too cynical, but lots of people get qualifications because they see it as a means of improving their career prospects, promotions, and such. What's your experience in that area? Do people benefit from having their MSIPs?
I think very much so. One of the things that I see from the student base is that most people end up either making considerable change within their own work environment to add value to whatever they're doing, but it's also giving students an opportunity to develop their career, look for alternative opportunities, perhaps in the market or within their own organization, to move up to a higher grade. So that there is huge value in gaining any of the levels, whether that be, say, an advanced certificate at level 3, right through to a professional diploma at level 6. And once, of course, the students, if they do achieve level 6, through the examination route, they have got a lifetime qualification, which then enables them to apply for MSIPS membership. And of course, the MSIP status then will remain with them whilst they continue to pay their membership fees to the institute. So that's the
Yeah.
little bit of backdrop around that.
And also, of course, given it's a graduate level uh, diploma, I think I'm pretty sure that means they can apply for postgraduate programs, mini MBAs and such as part of their entry requirements.
Yeah, absolutely. The good thing is once you've reached the status of a professional person or having the professional diploma, that level 6 is an equivalent of a university degree. So if you want to do anything from a postgraduate perspective, then absolutely gives you the strength of organizations such as universities or colleges, knowing that you're more than capable to go on to those higher levels.
Yeah. I mean, it's particularly too on sort of part-time courses and for more senior uh, staff. They, in my experience, most universities will accept SIPs and similar as entry qualification for a master's program. In most
Yes,
universities.
they will do, and funnily enough, the Chartered Institute also has alignments with many universities across the United Kingdom and indeed in certain parts of the world. So there can be an equivalence. So, if, for example, if you were doing, say, a master's degree in supply chain, for example, and you acquired that through a particular university, as long as you applied for your MSIPS membership within 5 years, then that would be granted. So on the basis of the university standing.
Yeah. Okay. So what other? I'm a student. I come to you and go, I want to become MSIPs. What's the process? What's the steps?
Well, I think very simply, we generally with our student base, we'll have an informal conversation initially, just to sort of understand a little bit about the role that the individuals involved with, what their own personal aspirations are, and really just trying to gauge, the appetite for learning, making time available. And obviously, people have, particularly busy lives, so we want to understand a little bit more about that, because that will enable us then to ensure that we're offering, the right sort of study and learning requirements for them. Um, you know, People can study, by self-learning if they want to. I think that's a hard route for anybody to do. But we offer support to people who want to do more of a self-learning process. We call it blended learning, and we're on hand to give them advice, guidance, support, um, test them out with some examination papers and things of that nature in the lead up to the exam. But the vast majority of our student base, once they've had those initial discussions, will generally want to sign up to ongoing regular classes, which we run on a weekly basis. And as a result of that, they feel they're participating, they feel they're learning, they're feeling they're getting good advice and guidance along the way. And of course, we do testing through that route as well prior to the exam to make sure that they're ready and able to sit the exam and get the results that they hope for, and clearly we hope they get as well.
So these lessons are what, via Teams, Zoom, or classroom?
Yeah, yeah. The vast majority of lessons are used using the technologies today of Teams and Zoom. Classroom learning, has diminished. When I say classroom learning, I'm talking about physical classroom learning. A lot of learning today is by virtual classrooms,
Yeah,
and that seems to work very well for an awful lot of people. They've got a great deal more flexibility in terms of being able to join classes. With the vast majority of people today working from home, on occasions, they can sort of work out their own timelines and
yeah,
join the sessions when it's convenient for them. And one of the good things is that as a business, we've got involved in recording all our lessons as well. So if a student, for any reason, is unable to attend, they'll have a recorded version
yeah.
of that session that
Right.
they can
That's
use.
very good. I mean, particularly when you get people of a certain age, they've got children, they've got families,
Yeah.
they're busy at work. They need to be able to manage their time very carefully, I would imagine. So that kind of
Yeah.
opportunity to pick up a recording must be quite a valuable asset. Uh,
Yeah, I think it is, and I think we don't at times understand the value of that. I was only talking to a student yesterday, for example, who has a very busy life schedule, young family, um, being pulled from pillar to post with one or two things, but has that moment where, funny enough, can actually download the video of the lesson on his phone. If you've got a quiet moment, there's an opportunity to
yeah,
catch up.
yeah,
Yeah,
a lunch hour perhaps, or
yeah,
coffee break,
exactly.
or
Yeah.
I won't say listen to it while you're driving the car, and
No, no, obviously not. But
cause an
but
accident. But yeah,
But
absolutely.
but but surprisingly, even with the technologies today, people can just sort of link their phone in, and
Mm.
if they just want to listen to it in the
Yeah,
car, they can.
that's right.
So
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it is
What,
quite
sorry.
flexible.
So
Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't watch it in the car. That's what I mean.
Oh gosh,
Of
no,
course, yeah.
no,
They
no,
can listen to it.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good. Okay, so I guess the last question is, how long will it take me to get my SIPs if I
Well,
start at level 4, for example?
that's an interesting question, really, because length of time links itself very much to an individual, and obviously, as we've just been explaining, individuals have got many challenges. Um, if you really wanted to push the boat out or accelerate something to the most shorter period, um, I would say that you could potentially complete your diploma level 4 within 15 months, 12 months to 15 months. And a number of students do seek to do that. But I think in all reality, if you're going to look at diploma at level 4, level 5, which is the advanced diploma, and level 6, the professional diploma, you've got to be saying to yourself, 3 to 4 years, especially if this is going to be on the basis of what we would call part-time learning.
Mm,
You
yeah,
know, most people have got jobs, most people are working sort of, the normal working hours and more.
mm,
And so therefore, to be realistic, you've got to be looking at sort of 3.5 to 4 years,
okay.
and maybe as long as 4 years to get through.
Now, at the other end of the spectrum, because as you know, we do have in-house SIPS programs where a client will
Yeah,
come to us and go,
yeah,
I want you to train my procurement team
yeah,
up to level 6,
yeah.
but on an in-house basis. And again, I guess in that case, that would be a much shorter. It could be potentially a much shorter timeline.
It can be, and again, that's giving the organisation the opportunity to fix a day or a couple of days every examination period and window to dedicate people to the qualification. And yes, you're absolutely right. The time period could be shortened. we've supported a number of organisations via this particular route through a classroom basis, and that has resulted in people getting qualified within 2 to 2.5 years. So it is feasible, it is possible, but again, it comes back to time, and the more time that's available, the more study availability for students, the greater chance that they'll be able to speed through. But I think in reality, it's good that people can complete things in a timely manner, but there's also the other argument to say, well, are they really learning everything, or is it just a race to get a qualification? And so there has to be a balance, I feel,
Yeah. Yeah.
in terms of recognizing the value you get out of the learning versus just having that sort of label, I've got my MSIPS or I've got my
And I
level
think from
six.
an employer's point of view, of course, it does mean they have space and time to reflect and to apply what they've learnt as they go along. Well, I should say, rather than just sort of sheep dipping,
Yeah,
because they've got that space and time, they can go, well, I'm going to look at this particular aspect
yeah,
of what we do because I've just done it in class and I've
yeah,
learned a lot of
that's right.
tools
Yeah,
and techniques. So you're going to get more of that feedback, more of that reflection and change, I think, over a period of,
yeah,
if you don't fast track it.
yeah, absolutely. But of course, the motives for people wanting to do these qualifications are mixed. A lot of people want to get them so that it gives them the greatest opportunity to get the higher business opportunities for themselves in the future. But then you've got others who are working for an organization, and their organization is sort of doing this on a step-by-step basis as their job is changing and evolving itself throughout the company. Then the company sort of saying, well, yeah, we now like you to go on and
Yeah.
perhaps reach a higher level. So it can be stage managed, or as I say, it can be delivered, uh, you know, in support of students who really just want to make sure that they've got the level six, an opportunity to gain MSIPs at the quickest and fastest way they can.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you, Geoff, for that. Very informative.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem.
I'm sure we'll be having further discussions.
Yeah, absolutely great. Thanks, Ray. Thank you.
I just want to, yeah. So for further information for people out there who've been listening, you can either go to our website www.dpss.co.uk, and the CIPS programs are up on the site, or you can email info@dpss.co.uk and someone will get back to you. Probably Geoff will get back to you if it's relates to CIPS. He's our centre manager and
Yeah,
he's the obvious person that we push all these
yeah.
inquiries onto.